Muslims who have begun promoting a 9/11 march in Washington that originally was to protest anti-Islamic bigotry in the U.S. and then turned into a march against fear may have some competition. Loud competition. Very loud. And lots of it. In what was a virtual impossibility before the internet, a Facebook page has been created in which many individuals are coordinating what they have dubbed 2 million bikers to D.C. At the Mr. Conservative blog, the author said, "The best way to counter bad speech is to oppose it with good speech. Sometimes speech can be expressed simply by the number of people who are willing to show up to support a principle." That's the view that hundreds of bikers so far across America have as they prepare to join a 2 million biker ride to D.C. to counter the planned September 11 million Muslim march. On the Facebook page, the community purpose is described as, "to honor those who were killed on 9/11 and our armed forces who fought those who precipitated this attack." More than 16,000 likes have been generated in just a short time. We have now created the final phase for states to coordinate. All riders need to look at the state list, choose your state and request to be added. Several states still need coordinators, is included in the instructions. 4 dozen pages to coordinate delegations from individual states already exist. A Ronald Curawa said, "Whoever comments I would like to do this should shut up and show up. I'm a retired FDN lieutenant. I should be at my old firehouse where I was on that ill-fated day, but I will be in D.C. riding. God willing." Added Brian Short, "How appropriate. A million Muslims surrounded by 2 million hogs. Don't forget y'all don't need a bike to participate. Support vehicles will be needed. I suppose most of the U.S. will be there in spirit. Those of us who are lucky to still have employment still need to work their knickers off to survive these days. Perhaps red/white/blue boys can adorn people's homes in support?" suggested Trish Zeisk.
Options for those who cannot make the trek to D.C. Organize a ride to your own state capital. Get with like-minded folks and get started planning. Someone take a lead in your state and get the event in motion. Also, get with your Impeach Obama Overpass organization. Whatever you decide, please do something to support America on 9/11. While the American Muslim Political Action Committee originally billed its offering as the Million Muslim March, it now has been changed to the Million American March Against Fear.
The promoters initially said their march was to protest anti-Islamic bigotry in the years that ensued the Al-Qaeda terrorist attacks that killed nearly 3,000 people on American soil. Now the group says its goal is to ask all individuals and organizations working for peace to attend this collective action to tell our government leaders we want transparency and policies of peace. In the past 12 years since 9/11, the United States government has failed to protect and promote constitutional liberties and human life, here and abroad. We feel that accountability in government has been ignored and the time has arrived to collectively speak truth to power. An early statement from the group said, "On September 11, 2001, our country was forever changed by the horrific events in New York. The entire country was victimized by the acts done on that day. Muslim and non-Muslim alike were traumatized, but we as Muslims continue 12 years later to be victimized by being made the villains." To this day, every media outlet and anti-Islamic organization has committed slanderous and libel statements against us as Muslims and our religion of Islam. ACT for America founder Bridget Gabriel blasted the organization. "It is amazing how fast they change the original language on their website claiming victimhood, bigotry, and unfair treatment since September 11, 2001, Gabriel said. Once they were confronted and debated by people like me who pointed out to them that in the last 4 years alone we have arrested on American soil 226 homegrown terrorists. 186 of them were Muslims. Not Jews. Not Hindus, not Buddhist. But Gabriel says the facts are that Muslim immigrants to the U.S. are responsible for a disproportionately large number of domestic terrorism cases. Of all immigrants who have ever immigrated to America since its birth, America never encountered such hatred and terrorism coming out of one faith-based group in our country that accounts for less than 2% of the American population and is now responsible for over 80% of attacks against America, she said. In 11 years since 9/11, the Islamic American community has not organized a 1 million man march to condemn Islamic terrorism against America and call Hamas, Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah, Al-Shabaab, and other groups by their names terrorists, Gabriel said. Instead they are rallying to condemn America for what they call unfair policy here and abroad. It is about time the Muslim American community comes out and condemns every imams preaching in mosques throughout America who advocates overthrowing our democracy and inciting hatred against infidels and America, Gabriel said. They should be coming out by the millions supporting America and its policy in eradicating Islamic terrorism, supremacy and violence,